going on, everybody? Welcome back to the 31 Days of Horror. I'm your host, Mood616, and thank you once again for stopping in, guys. Yes, 31 Days of Horror Volume 9, Day 5. It's coming at you live and direct. Alright, so yesterday we were in Hungary, so today we're naturally just going to head all the way back to the US, and we're going to take it all the way back, man, to some golden age horror, specifically 1935, with a film produced by MGM, and it is called Mad Love. This is starring Peter Lorre, actually. This was actually Peter Lorre's American debut. Man, this is one of those films that I've been wanting to see for years, and I completely slept on. In fact, I have really never heard a lot of people ever really talk about this one, which is quite shocking because it's really good. It's a really good film. Now, this one is shot by the famous cinematographer Carl Freenand, who actually shot Metropolis, world famous film Metropolis. Can't talk. And then he's actually uncredited, but rumor has it that he did actually shoot some scenes because he was a cinematographer in the originally 1931 Dracula film for Todd Browning. But he's uncredited as a director on there, but I have heard that he did scenes, but he probably did. He actually directed The Mummy also, and this was his very last film that he actually directed, but he went on to, shoot lots of films, like hundreds of films after this and stuff like that. So but yeah, this was his very last film, which was kind of after watching this, it's kind of shocking that he didn't continue to direct films, because this one's really good. Yeah, so getting into the premise of Mad Love. So basically, Peter Lorre is our main character, plays a doctor named Dr. Gogol. I love the name Dr. Gogol. It's pretty awesome. The film is actually set in France. Now, he's like this really, really kind of world famous kind of doctor and stuff like that. And he's, highly recommended kind of dude. Anyways, he becomes like obsessed with this actress played by, I think it's Frances Drake. I think that's who the girl is. She's an actress, and he becomes totally obsessed with her. Now, Dr. Gogol is like this hopeless romantic. Like, he just cannot figure out love. In fact, like, he's really actually pretty shitty at it. So, but he starts obsessing over this actress and stuff like that. And she's married to like this a pianist, and one day she's waiting for her husband to come back on the train. Anyways, there's this huge train wreck, and his hands are crushed, right? So he's got to have like some emergency surgery and stuff like that. And the other part of the plot is where there's actually this murderer who used his hands. He threw knives and killed people and stuff like that. Anyways, he was getting the guillotine in France. So anyways, he gets this bright idea that, he can probably save this guy by using the murderer's hands, and he surgically removes the hands during this procedure, and he replaces the penis hands with these murder hands and stuff like that. And of course, that's basically the premise of the film. So my thoughts on this one: this is really good. This is, of course, going back to, the golden age of horror films, MGM, all that type of stuff. 1935, Peter Lorre's American debut, which he absolutely knocks this role out the park. It's really, really good. Of course, the movie's going to be shot really well by Carl Freenand, who actually, I didn't mention that he actually is the one that invented like the three camera setup for shooting like TV and films and stuff like that. So I thought that was kind of a notable thing. But yeah, it's one thing you notice right away. There's a lot of really good shots in this film. Some shots with mirrors and like just the way he did some of the effects and stuff like that. There's actually really great, you don't really see it back in the 30s, but there's a character, I think it's Peter Lorre's housekeeper. Yeah, she's the housekeeper. She's a totally drunk housekeeper. But anyway, she's all getting shit-faced and stuff, and it actually shows her like seeing double and stuff. And I thought that was really interesting. You don't really see a lot of that. So, but yeah, just a lot of really interesting cinematic techniques that are used in this film and stuff. But really what drives this movie is Peter Lorre's performance. He's absolutely fantastic. He's super diabolical. The writing is fantastic in this too, because, at first you don't really think that, he's like this crazy doctor, because I don't really think actually he was like a mad scientist. He was just a really good doctor who was capable of surgically removing hands and putting them on somebody else and stuff like that. And it actually worked. But he kind of figured that, just through his own muse and his own ways and stuff, he'd be able to actually get the actress, kind of steal her away from this pianist and stuff. But then when he realizes that the pianist is like throwing knives like this murderer was and stuff like that, he kind of spruces up and creates this like diabolical plan by the usage of like the power of suggestion, which I think is a really, really good angle to approach the mad doctor scientist thing with. It's really good. It's really, really cool, man. I just think it works out so great. I mean, this movie kind of comes down to the end where it's like super poetic justice and stuff like that, you know. But yeah, really good stuff, man. One of my favorite scenes in the film actually is when the housekeeper, she's all shit-faced and stuff. And Peter Lorre, he gets really creepy in this film. He gets really kind of diabolic and stuff. And he actually creates this like wax version of the actress. And he's got it in his apartment and stuff. And of course the housekeeper's seen it and stuff. And then she runs into the real actress and she's like all seeing double. She's like, I've never seen a wax person come alive before. It's actually really funny. But yeah, I've got to say, man, like, you know, this was a first time watch for me, and I'm absolutely blown away by Peter Lorre's performance in this film. I think Charlie Chaplin was even on record saying that when he saw this film in 1935, he said Peter Lorre hands down was the best actor in Hollywood, and doing it on the big screen at the time in the sound films and stuff like that. So very, very notable stuff, because Charlie Chaplin was really good for what he did. But yeah, Peter Lorre's debut knocked it out the park. Again, the film, it's from the Golden Age, so only runs about 68 minutes. It's in and out. It's very, very quick. There's not really a lot of downtime in it. You know, a lot of people could look at this film and be like, you know, it's a romance, you know, disguised as a horror film. But it really isn't, though, because Peter Lorre really, she doesn't really want anything to do with him the entire film. It's more about the progression of his psychology, man. Like, he gets a little bit crazy about the whole thing. And in fact, where he goes into the third act and like how he conjures up this diabolical plan and stuff, and what he does to the husband is actually pretty funny. It's pretty ridiculous and stupid. You know, you have a police investigation that's going on and stuff, because, you know, these things are happening, and, you know, you have this reporter that's really trying to break this story, and he's like your very, very typical old school reporter. He's trying to break, you know, every little case with, like, you know, the littlest stuff and shit. And it's just, but really good characters and stuff like that. So, but yeah, you know, not really a whole lot more to say about Mad Love. Peter Lorre absolutely knocks us out of the park. It's actually one of my favorite films that comes from this era. Like, I mean, if we ever got 1935 on a retro top 10 show, I could see this one showing up on pretty much everyone's list. It's super underrated, highly overlooked, I think, because it is from the Golden Age and stuff like that. So it can't come highly recommended enough by me. I'm coming in at a 9 out of 10 on this one. Really fantastic stuff. Always been a huge Peter Lorre fan. The thing that really blows my mind about Peter Lorre in this film is that he was 31 years old when he did this film, and he looks like he's 50 years old. It really is true about how people look so much older back in the day than they do now. People just don't age the same. But he really does look a lot older. Like, I knew he was younger in this, but then I looked at the age and he was like 31 years old, and I'm like, that's crazy to me, man. He looks like he's 50. It's bananas. But yeah, awesome stuff. Really good performances. Great stuff. 9 out of 10 for Mad Love. Yeah, put out by Warner Archives. So Warner obviously acquired the rights to this, put it out in physical media. Pretty cool. So that's going to conclude day 5 here. For day 6, where are we going? Are we going back out somewhere? Oh yeah, we're actually going to go to a country that doesn't really put out a ton of horror films, and it's one that I've been really looking forward to watching. So stay tuned for tomorrow. We're on the move again, and I'll check you later. And as usual,